Fox Static asks, can I talk about, or can you talk about how you like to cut CFB? And yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, there's a lot of, we've talked about this a little bit, but I just want to reiterate, there's a lot of, you'll read stuff out there on the web about the dangers of CFB, and I just want to reiterate, in my opinion, it is dangerous. It holds the same danger potential as, basically any of the sharp dusts that can get into your lungs and cause, whether it's mesothelioma or silicosis or, there's a whole bunch of little sharp, pointy, and organic things in your lungs, bad stuff that happens. So that's what you want to keep from happening with CFB. So you do want to wear a mask anytime you cut it. And I'm going to say that, in my opinion, it's no more or less dangerous than cutting fire brick or even regular brick. They're full of silica, and you make that stuff airborne. Not to mention refractory powders, any of the things we use. So I just wanted to reiterate that when you're handling or cutting CFB, wear a mask, but don't be scared. It's not, in my opinion, any more dangerous than changing your pool filters with diatomaceous earth, anything like that. You just take the appropriate precautions, but don't be fearful. So there's the first part of cutting CFB is wear your masks, but it's not a cobra or whatever. You'll be fine. Secondly, how to cut it. There's a few different things that work well, some that don't work well. One of my main goals is to try and avoid creating too much dust, to try not to turn it into dust. So I don't like using things like routers or table saws if I can avoid it. There's one power tool that I love that works. In my opinion, it's the very best thing to cut CFB, and that's an oscillating tool. And it's, the Fine was the first brand out. They made the Multi-Master, but now there's, Makita's and Milwaukee's, and everyone else has what they call a multi-tool, and it's an oscillating tool. So the blade doesn't go like this, and it doesn't rotate. It just oscillates. And what that does is it's the same way that a cast cutter works. So it has enough vibration to cut something brittle, but it won't cut something soft, because that soft thing will move with it. And in cutting that CFB, it just works really well for just kind of working. It actually just cuts it like butter. The stuff just kind of disappears in front of it, and the dust sort of just stays right there. It doesn't make a big airborne cloud. So I really like an oscillating tool, a multi-tool. That's my preferred way of cutting CFB. I like to use like an aluminum straight edge and use a flat, like those oscillating tools. They have like floor cutoff wheels for getting under door jambs and stuff. Those work really well for cutting that CFB. If you don't have that, you can cut it a really simple way using my favorite. I don't recommend a utility knife, because you'll just dull it instantly, and it's such a short little blade. It's kind of like cutting foam with a utility knife, deep foam. It's just sort of a pain in the butt. But a long bladed serrated knife, like if you go to the Goodwill and get yourself like a big old bread knife, or something like that, those work great. They don't need to be super sharp. It's the serration that really does it. So one of those little Victorinox fishing knives, a little red-handled serrated 8-inch knife or 4-inch blade, whatever, something like that. Those work great. So any kind of serrated edge seems to work great. I don't care for non-serrated edges, because the ceramic will just dull it instantly, and then you're just kind of pushing your way through the board. So that's my cutting tips there. The other part of it is use a straight edge. It's hard to cut that stuff straight. The blade wants to wander all over. And I think that's all I got for now on cutting CFB.